What up, y'all? It's Tone Space. Max B is free after serving a straight 16 years, and as he puts it, a total of 18 years locked up for a botched robbery that resulted in a murder. And as many of you probably know, there's been whisperings about did Max B snitch on somebody and all of this, because you know how hip hop is, you know how the streets are. Snitching is like the cardinal rule that you're not supposed to break, otherwise you're supposed to be a dub and all that stuff. At least traditionally, it's kind of a new wave coming in, pun intended, where people are being more receptive to that. If you got good music, if you know, if you're a likable person, stuff like that. You know what I'm saying? Things are kind of changing, but it's a big debate. I don't even know if I could even call it a debate. It's just a big conversation on did Max B snitch in his murder case, his botched robbery murder case. And I'm not here to definitively say yes or no, because I think that's the type of info that you shouldn't be playing with people. If you weren't there, you know what I'm saying, then I don't even care. Even to the point if there's paperwork out, I'm the type of person where it's like, if I wasn't there and I'm not you and I wasn't the people around you, I can never definitively say yes or no. I can't even definitively say that Max B is guilty of the crime. I don't care if he pleaded to it. People pleaded shit that they didn't really do and get lied on all the time. But what I can and I will do is I will divulge what I've read, which is a dope ass article that breaks down, or allegedly breaks down, the entire situation of this botched robbery, and it includes the details that are being alleged of what Max B did that some may consider snitching, and we're going to go into it. We're going to break it down, right? So first off, let's take it back to the crime that he got charged of in the first place, right? So, pardon me for forgetting the year. Might be around 2005, something like that. Max B is still rocking with Jim Jones at this time, right? So another somewhat misconception people have is they kind of muddy up things. You know what? This lime green ain't really showing, you know, due to the green screen. So part of my translucence, if you will, right? So Max B's rocking with Jim Jones at this time. No, it's not to the point where Max B felt disgruntled or felt like he was getting jerked or wasn't making money, and that's why he did the robbery. I think that's an important detail too. At the time of his alleged involvement in this robbery, Max B was rocking with Jim Jones. He had already wrote Ballin', or was writing Ballin', wrote for Jim Jones' album. He was 100% rocking with him. Their fallout happened kind of after the crime, and you know the situations led up to what went on there, but that's another story, right? So anyway, let's go. So I'm gonna summarize it as best as I can, as quick as I can. There's these two guys, the one that ended up dying, that ended up getting killed in this robbery. Rest in peace to him. I remember his last name is Taylor, so we're just gonna call him Mr. Taylor. I forget the other dude's name, Lodem something, I forget, right? Maybe leered him, but don't quote me on that. We're gonna call him Scammer Number One. Scammer Number One, and Mr. Taylor, who is Scammer Number Two, right? They were these two scammers. I think they were from Florida. They were running some type of scams, prepaid cards, something or another. You know, they're just getting money, doing whatever they're doing, right? They came from Florida. They came to New York. Parallel to that, Max B met the girl, what's her name, Gina Conway, right, who's an integral part of this robbery story, right? He meets her at a Dipset show, I think in North Carolina. Long story short, she ends up moving in with Max. They break up. They get back together. He kicks her out the house. He brings her back. They have like a back and forth kind of that's his girl, that's not his girl relationship. But the whole time he was at least on some creeping shit, even when they weren't together. You know what I'm saying? She was allegedly very much in love with him, and he was still entertaining her and doing stuff and shit like that, right? Gina meets Scammer Number One, right? Not Mr. Taylor, the one that ended up getting killed, but Scammer Number One, right? Gina meets Scammer Number One, Uptown 126, I think. You know, they start kicking it. Supposedly, allegedly, he was abusive, halfway sexually assaulting her, all types of shit, but he had money. according to the story, spending money on her, and figured that he was owed something in return, some type of favors and stuff, kind of demanding with the, with the get down or whatever, right? So he got money. So one day, by a basketball court, I think around 120 something street or whatever, Max B runs into Gina. Now at this time, I don't think they together, but Gina is kind of like flaunting her boyfriend or a dude she's rocking with. Scammer number one. My man, let me not speak in the first person, but her man got money, trying to make Max B jealous, according to what they're saying. And Max B, almost verbatim from the transcripts I read, said, "We're gonna get him for his guap," right? And then so she ends up bouncing from him. He drops that little buzz in her ear. He meets up with her later. Max B's stepbrother, Pooh Sims, is now with him later on that day or early the next day. And Max B, again, almost verbatim from what I read, tells her something to the effect of, "If you take my brother with you, I love you forever," right? Because Gina alerted them that scammer number one, the dude she was rocking with, was going to be at a club that night somewhere in New Jersey. But scammer number one was staying at a hotel. Gina, in her bag, happened to have had the key card to that hotel room. And she said, "Look, the door's wide open practically. He's going to be at the club. He got money." You know what I'm saying? They already allegedly discussed getting them for his guap and all of that type of shit and all that. So, allegedly, Max B, Gina, Max B's brother, Pooh Sims, thought it was just going to be an easy lick. No problem. Nobody's there. Go in the hotel. Sweep it out. You know what I'm saying? Pack up some bags. She come back uptown. And Max will love her forever. That was the plan, right? Long story short. So she ends up riding out to the hotel with Pooh Sims, Max B's co-defendant that I believe is doing life right now. And I think somebody else, a driver or some shit like that. Unfortunately, when they get to the hotel, homeboy was there. You know what I'm saying? So they go in the door. I think a woman answered the door or something like that. Some people ended up getting bound and gagged. I think they bound and gagged scammer number one because they were trying to get the money. They were asking him where the money was. If I'm not mistaken, I think scammer number one said Mr. Taylor, the one that unfortunately got killed, is the one with the money, but he's in another hotel room. So they had scammer number one call Mr. Conway to the room. Mr. Conway comes to the room. They try to get down on him. Allegedly, Pooh Sims tries to get down on him, producing a gun. Mr. Taylor wasn't having it, so it's a struggle for the gun. And unfortunately, Mr. Taylor gets shot in the face. Pooh Sims bounces. Gina bounces. And I think they took a laptop. Now, the laptop is somewhat important to shit because allegedly the FBI was already looking into scammer number one, and this laptop had all that scamming information within its contents, right? So they left with, I think, like around $800 in the laptop. Some shit like that, right? So they dip. Now, the dude that was bound and gagged, the main target that they were initially after, police end up coming to the hotel or something like that. They find him. They find his man's, unfortunately, on the floor dead. You know what I'm saying? So he's in a predicament, and he ends up spilling the beans. Now let me go to the article, because this is the part in the story where it really gets important to iron out the details, because now we're going to get into the so-called juicy part on, according to this article, if Max B told or not, or to what level he told, however you want to look at it. Let me put my glasses on, right? All right, let's get to it. And I'll read it. Matter of fact, let me put it on the screen. Okay. Here we go. Okay. All right. We're going to take it from the part where Plowden, that's scammer number one's name, when he was in the hotel with his homeboy's dead body, right? Things certainly did not look good for Plowden. Taylor's dead body and tens of thousands of dollars in ill-gotten cash had been found in his room. As it turns out, the items that were missing would prove to be his undoing. The Toshiba laptop and thumb drive, which were later found in the possession of Gina's friend, Teron Goldston. Another detail of the story is someone else that she was messing with, her Teron, another guy that Gina was rocking with or whatever. She brought the laptop to his crib, right? It was found in the possession of Gina's friend Teron Goldston, and this provided the FBI with a detailed record of his crimes, of his scamming crimes, that is, right? The proverbial smoking gun, as it were. Among the items on the computer were files related to the opening and closing of mortgages, invoices from the shell company, Harrison and Associates, pictures of a U.S. passport. All right, we're going to skim through just all the scamming information, and the FBI was already on dude. All the proof that he was getting down on some scamming shit was found on the laptop. That's what they're talking about, right? Now, okay, here we go. David, for good measures, information was also found. All right, the feds had already been sizing Plowden up for a fall and eventually took him into custody, where he remained through his guilty plea on charges stemming from the fraudulent mortgage schemes. But Allen did not go into federal custody quietly. He cooperated. Now, this is the important part, because now we're getting at the source of who told who what first, right? He cooperated with New Jersey authorities, and once he began spilling the beans, the police immediately began searching for Gina Conway. So the victim that was bound and gagged was basically the plug, if you will, for the police to start following the breadcrumbs to, figure out what happened with this crime. And he spilled the beans because Gina, the girl, was there. He was rocking with her or whatever. So he told the cops that, right? Now remember, Max B was messing with Gina. You know what I'm saying? So that's going to be the reason why, after they want to find Gina, they need leads on Gina. So they, search around to find out who she's, rocking with or whatever. I guess somehow they figured out that she has or had a relationship with Max B, and that's what led them to Max B's door. As you may hear as I read this, right? On September 26, 2007, the search for Conway brought Bergen County Prosecutor's Office Detective Dave Borzota to Max B's residence at 1950 Andrews Avenue in the Bronx. According to the detective, Mr. Wingate was very helpful. Mr. Wingate dealt himself in, Borzota would later recall at trial. He was forthcoming about his dealings with Miss Conway and even told them addresses that she was known to frequent. Max revealed that she could be at Murder Mike's, where stolen property was later found. I believe Murder Mike is one of Max B's brother, if I'm not mistaken, his biological brother. And when Gina was dealing with Max, they have their falling outs. She would go to stay at Max's brother, Murder Mike's crib sometimes, right? So, at this time, Max is not a suspect. They're just looking for Gina. When they holler at Max, according to this document, or this article anyway, they're saying Max was helpful. They said, look, she ain't here. She might be at my brother's crib, Okay, Max revealed that she could be at Murder Mike's, where stolen property was later found. Max also told them about Sin City, because she was a stripper at Sin City, close to where they ultimately caught her. Max gave the officer his cell number and even called him on more than one occasion during the preliminary investigation. This article is claiming that Max gave the cops, here's my number, call me if you need me or whatever. He said, I ain't gonna put words in his mouth. But according to this article, they're saying that Max proactively even called the officers. Maybe because, he knew that he did allegedly have something to do with this, if this article is true. So maybe, just to keep tabs on what's going on. Bit nervous. He's like, hey, guys, anything, what's going on, whatever. Did you find her yet? You know what I'm saying? I'm probably nervous, right? Max gave the officer his cell number and even called him on more than one occasion during the preliminary investigation. Borzota recalled one instance when he went to interview Max, and the rapper was outside his Bronx residence talking on the phone with Jim Jones. So the detective came to interview Max B, obviously about this crime, as they're trying to figure it out, put it together. And Max was on the phone with Jim Jones. Max was overheard telling his future nemesis, Max was overheard telling The police talking to me about some bullshit. That's what Max was saying while he was on the phone with Jim Jones when the detective came to talk to Max B about the crime. Police over here talking to me about some bullshit. Max was overheard telling his future nemesis. Max even let the police search his apartment to look for Gina. It was clear from the officer's testimony that Max was not considered a suspect at this time. So there you have it, folks. I'm not going to judge or cast any hammer of righteousness down for or against Max B and about that. I'm not even going to say that that is exactly true and it happened that way, because I never heard Max B, it might be out. I never heard from Max B's mouth if he even has conceded to having set this girl Gina up for this crime. He may have pleaded out to it, but you know how that can go. You know what I'm saying? You try. I mean, I know we did go to trial, so that tells a lot right there. You know what I'm saying? I don't know if Max B is in agreement with this article. You know what I'm saying? That this is what he did. Now, so allegedly, this article comes from court documents, and it has quotes from the actual officers. Detective Borzota, he's the one that said that Max B gave him his phone number. Max B called Borzota on the phone, checking up on what's going on. Max B allegedly told him, like, look, you might find Gina at Murder Mike's crib. Max B told Borzota allegedly that the girl works at Sin City at the strip club sometimes, shit like that, right? Now, Pooh Sims is the one that allegedly pulled the trigger, or I can't even say he pulled the trigger, let me not even say that, the one that had the struggle with the gun allegedly where it went off and a man was killed, right? Pooh Sims is the main proponent that's coming out against Max B, claiming he told, right? Now, off top, it don't sound like Max B told on Pooh Sims. In fact, I think there's some other details where he was shown allegedly some the mugshot book and shit like that, where Pooh Sims' picture was in there and Max B did not point him out. That's some other stuff I read. I forget if it's later in this article. This is a long article I'm looking at or whatnot. So I'm not sure if it's this one or something else, right? But it is what point is, it was no direct Max B telling on Pooh Sims, but if this is true, one could say that by proxy of him telling where Gina Conway is, that's how Pooh Sims can get caught up in the thing, because eventually they did find Gina, and Gina did spill the beans, if this is true, and implicated Pooh Sims as the one that had the struggle with the gun, and implicated Max B as the one that ever so casually set this robbery up, telling Shorty that he'll love her forever, you take my brother with you, we're gonna get him for his guap. These are the alleged things. So you could see not a direct telling on Pooh Sims if this is true, but by proxy, by way of him helping them find Gina. Gina helps them find Pooh Sims, and there you have it. Now, question is, did he do any damage? Because it doesn't sound like the Gina Conway woman was trying to like head for the border or anything like that. You know what I'm saying? She had an ecstasy pill addiction, so they say. Her money wasn't really right like that. She was still, maybe laying low, but still laying. You know what I'm saying? Laying somewhere where she could be woken up and apprehended. You know what I'm saying? So one could say that they would have caught up with her anyway, right? So there you have it. Y'all make y'all judgments. Do you believe this story? You know what I'm saying? I think I heard Joe Budden say recently, I'm not a reporter, I'm a podcaster. It sounds like a cop-out, because what he was saying is that, look, I don't got to get the information accurate. I'm just speaking about what I hear. A reporter has to do the thorough investigations and the details. Well, I'm kind of on that type of time too. It's not a cop-out because I'm not making any claims. I'm not claiming any of this is true. I'm just sharing with y'all the information I read, because this was a very detailed article, and I haven't really heard anyone really breaking down the specifics like that, according to this article, so I thought I'd share that. Now, the dude Pooh Sims for years has been coming out with, allegedly with paperwork that pretty much summarizes what was spoken about in this article about Max B allegedly helping them find Gina, which helped them find him, and this and that, and giving the cops a number. I think I even heard Pooh Sims allege that he has so what's that backroom footage, interrogation footage of Max B that he was threatening to put out. He's been talking his talk for like quite a few years now, dude. Pooh Sims, right? So you know, the choice is yours if that's enough to jam him up or something like that. I mean, my personal opinion is nobody's gonna care. I think the music is fire. You know what I'm saying? The man Pooh Sims been shouting out from behind the wall for like what, at least a 10 piece already, and everybody has been free Max, this, that, the third, and also Max did do a lot of time. Now there's another thing too, the appeal process, because if I'm not mistaken, that whole story of Max allegedly being helpful with the detectives to apprehend Gina, allegedly, if I'm not mistaken, they were like heavily championing and riding on that shit. You know what I'm saying? I'm not going to call it a fact, but on that detail as part of Max B's appeal process. Because when Max B got his appeal granted, I think Pooh Sims started to make even a lot more noise. And I think that's basically the devil in the details, because a lot of people were saying like, well, what's the details about this appeal that where Max B did anything wrong? And I believe the main part of that is that they were just rehashing what Max allegedly did back when, you know, around when this crime had first happened, saying like, look, Your Honor, appeal board, whoever, Max gave him his phone number, he even called him, he checked up, he was very helpful, he did this, he did that. So I think that was the part about the appeal process that decided to also get Pooh Sims up there. I don't even know if Pooh Sims' statement on it. He might even say like, look, this whole shit is a lie, I wasn't even there. You know what I'm saying? So I can't say he did it. I can't say Max B set Shorty up to do it. I just know that this is what he was charged with. Now, let's just go hypothetical. Let's say all that shit is true. My question is, what is worse? What is worse? Is it worse that Max B set this crime in motion, and then when things went bad, he took a cohort, someone that was under him that he sent on a mission that was part of this crime, that he worked with police to grab her up while he's the mastermind allegedly behind it? Or is it worse that he even set this crime in motion in the first place? Like, which is worse, the snitching or the crime? And that's kind of the issue that a lot of times I have with this whole snitching thing. Niggas will vilify somebody that tells like to death, like there's no turning back from that or whatever. But there's also some heinous crimes that people do. A life was lost in this situation. But the streets will look at that like, oh, that's just part of the game. You know what I'm saying? Sometimes they'll commend people for stuff like that. Somebody gets killed, oh, he got a hat, he got a body, he just doing his thing. Let them tell on tell on somebody for jaywalking, and they'll be vilified forever, even though they got like 10 bodies or something like that. Some which might be innocent people or someone connected to innocent people and shit like that. So I always like to look at the crime as well as the snitching. I mean, I guess they go hand in hand, because if this is true, then that would be the stat quo definition of snitching, wouldn't it be? Do a crime with somebody, in this case, be the head honcho of the crime, sending other people on a mission, and then telling on them when they get caught. Right? But I don't know. Allegedly, Pooh Sims is going to come out with some info on Thanksgiving. I don't know if it's going to be a rehash version of the shit that already came out. I don't know if it's going to be something brand new, interrogation footage. He had an Instagram post where Pooh Sims, that is, had an Instagram post where he was claiming that Max and French B were trying to pay him off, but the truth can't be bought. And he's going to come on it when people got turkey drumsticks in their mouth. They're going to be tapping into Instagram and reading some alleged new shit on Max B, trying to like stop the wave. personally, I don't think anything's gonna stop the wave. I think Max B makes great music. For those that don't know, he was dropping joints while he was in the can. Negro Spirituals, that's one of his latest album, up to date of this video. That's one of the only albums in recent times that I could just rock back to back. I don't got to worry about shifting through tracks. I put it on at the beginning, let it flow. You know what I'm saying? I also believe, like, to me, if all of this is true, hypothetically, I believe they're both just as bad. Telling on somebody you did the crime with, you the head of the shit, you fucked up. Doing the crime when you were already signed to Bird Gang, your pocket money might not have been where you wanted it. I think that was just, you know, young immaturity, and also a lack of patience. Because anyone in that position, even if your money ain't like that, the streets were fucking with Max around 2007. Even if he saw signs of Jim Jones trying to excel past him, and maybe the first seeds of him allegedly trying to suppress Max, it don't matter. He already had the streets, and he did have that Jim plug and that alliance. A little bit of patience. Let's say he wouldn't have done that crime if he did do it or whatever. Shit, in a year, by that time, 2008, 2009, it'd have been unstoppable. It'd have been unstoppable, and his paper would have been where he wants it to be. So I think that was an exercise of great impatience and just some foul shit. I mean, Choke No Joke called him a bum ass nigga. Said he was a bum ass nigga for doing that shit like that. I'm not gonna get on this camera and be, you know, as harsh like that, because I'm not trying to judge people. You know what I'm saying? I'm just putting out this information that I read somewhere, very detailed article. I will put a link in it down below. If you like this video, I will probably be doing a lot more stuff like this on Rumble. So I'll also leave the link to the Rumble channel. So what are your thoughts on this whole situation? And did I do a good job on breaking it down? Did you learn anything new or figure out anything new about this situation and the details and, you know, all that stuff regarding Max B snitching, regarding the crime? Let me know, you know, if I broke it down, you know, to your liking, to your satisfaction. All right, y'all.